Okay, bus bench babes, are you ready to laugh your butt off?
I know I am.
I'm going to share some of the most hilarious and outrageous stories that's happened to me throughout the last 24 years in this business. And these are stories Christy hasn't even heard about. So we're going to bring some laughter and joy to your day today. Today is all about letting loose and having fun. So grab a cup of coffee or a tequila and pull up a seat and prepare to laugh your ass off.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in. Hey friend, we're having a fun episode today. How are you today?
I'm really excited for today because I get to sit on my butt and drink sparkling water and laugh. And Mark is on toddler duty, which is great.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Kaya has some new idol worship of Mark and just following him around relentlessly. She's helping him break down cardboard earlier today.
She's a big fan, and Ryan's racing around trying to make sure the podcast gets recorded correctly. So it's a good day. So I'm kind of just hanging out today. It's pretty nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. You should. Hashtag Christy, queen for the day. All right. So this episode is all about crazy stuff that's happening in real estate. And when I was trying to think back, I just kept writing notes of stories, and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I just had a couple on the tip of my tongue. And then when I started digging into it, there's way more. So are you ready?
I'm so excited for this.
Okay. So what should we start with? Should we start with things like alligators or,
what do you mean alligators?
Well, I mean, I do have 3 alligator stories.
Wait. We live in Minnesota. How the actual heck do you have 3 alligator stories?
I started my real estate career in Florida. So there's 2 alligator stories related to Florida and 1 related to Minnesota. Yes, Ooh. Alligator story in Minnesota.
Ooh, okay.
And then we have criminal behavior. We have
oh, wow.
crazy nutso stuff. Snakes.
Okay. Snakes,
service dogs. Where do you want to start with this conversation?
Let's maybe mash it up. Give me a little of each, kind of dabble in, and let's do it.
Okay, let's start with something really just funny and it's kind of ridiculous. So we had a client a handful of years ago. So let's just preface this. We're not going to use client-specific names. We're not going to use a specific town that they live in. We're going to protect the innocent or not so innocent in this conversation.
All right.
Just so people don't think I'm outing people directly. We're just having a casual conversation about things.
So you have standards and rules.
Okay. Yes.
Standards for the funnies.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So in a town not far from where I live, we had a listing a number of years ago. So I arrive at the house for the open house on the Sunday, and the husband has a pit bull dog who is adorable, and she looks pretty ferocious, but she's a softie. So the dog scared the bejesus out of me initially, and then she laid on the ground and rolled on her back and let me pet her belly, and I thought, okay, we're safe. This dog isn't going to eat my face off. And so as he's leaving, he puts a service dog jacket on her. And I said, is your dog a service dog? most pit bulls aren't service dogs in what my world.
It doesn't seem like it's the norm, but I'm sure there are some.
Maybe, but that's not usually the type of dog you take to a nursing home to like comfort old people or anything.
Not typically, but maybe people could like tell us if they know of some, because that'd be really cute.
So I said, I'm like, oh, your dog's a service dog. Like just, having a conversation with our client. And he said, no, I just ordered the vest off Amazon. I just want to be able to take her into the smoke shop in the brewery down the street. So I just put the service vest on her and then I can take her everywhere I go. He goes, in fact, the other day I was walking her down the street and she took a big old dump on the sidewalk. And I realized I didn't have a poop bag with me. And he said some lady rolled up and rolled her window down and said, sir, you need to pick up your dog poop. You just can't leave it there on the sidewalk. And he goes, ma'am, she's the service dog. And the lady said, oh, okay, and drove away.
Oh my gosh. So he's using this.
He's totally using it as a crutch. Is not a service dog at all. He just wants to drink at the brewery with this dog.
Wow.
I know. So like,
if I went to a brewery around here, would I maybe find this service dog?
No, they have since relocated out of state. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Okay.
One time I was showing a house in Minneapolis and it was in the middle of the day. So I'm showing my clients because they're available. And we walk into the house and a lot of times I'll knock on the door before I put the key in the door and I'll say, hello, realtor or something, because you never know like what you're going to stumble upon. So I've stumbled upon enough crazy things that like, that's my MO. Like I'm not going to just pop in and.
It seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
seems like a good idea.
We walked into this house and it felt really weird. Like we weren't alone in the house. And I'm like, hey.
That feels creepy. I just got goosebumps.
No, not like in a creepy way, but like, I feel like, I don't know, just something felt off.
Okay.
So we walk in and all of a sudden I hear some like shuffling around upstairs and 2 high school kids come racing down the stairs, pulling their clothes on. And I'm like, oh, hey, you guys skipping school today? And they're like, no. And then they took off. We totally busted them having sex in the house on their lunch break.
Get out of here. Get out of here. High school lunch break? What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then, of course, upstairs, it looked like, hanky panky had been going on. Like,
did you put that in the notes that you sent to the other realtor?
No, because I'm not going to rat them out. Because if that was me in high school, I wouldn't have wanted anyone to rat me out. But I'm like,
Did your clients buy the house?
No.
Okay.
But we laughed about it for a long time after that.
I love it. Okay, what else you got?
When I lived in Tampa, we had a house listed that had a black bottom pool, which was super cool because it stayed really warm all the time. And it was one of those caged in, it was like the screened in lanai things with the pool. Okay. And so it was a super.
Like the bottom or the sides?
The bottom.
Too?
Like
just
all
the
of
bottom.
the concrete was dyed black and all the tile was black. Ooh. So it looked like kind of like the black hole in the backyard. So it was really like moody and sexy. And then you would turn lights on at night.
Kind of like that one pool in Puerto Rico where we stayed.
Yes.
At the W that's no longer there.
Cool. Yeah, just really vibey, really cool. And then the listing agent said, well, the only bad thing about it is that it attracts snakes because it's so warm. So all the water moccasins keep coming out of the pond in the backyard and coming like through the cracks in the lanai, and there's snakes in the pool all the time.
Oh,
water moccasins.
What? I don't even know what a water moccasin
They're
is.
dangerous snakes. They're not like gardener snakes.
Are they black?
Here in Minnesota.
Are they like darker color?
Yes, they're dark snakes. And I think they're poisonous. I'm not going to go on record saying they're poisonous, but they're like a dangerous snake.
Why would you not just drain your pool and paint it?
Well, they didn't know until after they had painted until they had done the pool black. They didn't realize.
So you're just like swimming along. It's like sunset. You're like, this is great. And there's a big freaking snake.
No. Yes.
Get out of here. Did you race out of that house? Like, well,
I didn't go anywhere near the pool. Like, I was just doing like my normal Tuesday broker tour. I'm like, hell to the no. So note to self, if you live in Florida, don't have a black pool, because if you have water moccasins nearby, they're going to love it.
That's creepy.
Yes. Oh. No.
Oh, imagine if you found out if you just moved in.
Yeah.
The hard way.
No.
Not good.
Yeah.
Florida. Whew.
My very first listing I ever had in my real estate career, I got it from door knocking a neighborhood. Ooh. Yay, kudos to me. That's hard to do, to get your own listing. And so it was a girl that owned the house, a young single mom, and with sort of like a deadbeat boyfriend. She owned one of those stores where you would, she rescued greyhound dogs. Okay. So she had all these old, like half dead greyhound dogs everywhere. And I love dogs, but it was like,
so basically a nice way of saying it is she's running a senior home for greyhounds.
Yes.
Half dead
Plus,
greyhounds.
she owned one of those consignment shops where you bring all your baby's kids' toys or like clothes and stuff. I don't even know what that.
I think it's like called Facebook Marketplace now, basically.
Yeah, but it used to be an actual store. So she had gobs and gobs of stuff that she would buy at garage sales and then scrub it up and bring it to her store to sell.
Oh.
So dogs, gobs of baby gear and crap everywhere.
Oh.
She's trying to sell her house and she's got a deadbeat boyfriend that doesn't work. And every time there were showings, he would be like naked, passed out in their bed.
What?
But he would be so passed out that every time people would go there for a showing, I'm like, he has to start sleeping with some clothes on. First of all, like, B, why is he even here for these showings? He should be gone.
First, he has to start sleeping with some
So every time you would open the bedroom door and he would be no covers on.
So you knew this was going to happen.
Like I didn't know initially until after the first round of feedback. But by the third time, I'm like, dude, this dude has to get a job or put clothes on or set an alarm or, something's got to happen. So she's at work and he's at home passed out. So people would go in for the showing and they would literally walk around the room and he never woke up. And he would be like wiener hanging out, living his best life, passed out in bed.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And this happened numerous times. And I'm like,
so he didn't get the memo.
I never sold the house. We just couldn't sell it. I'm like, unless you get rid of this boyfriend, like this house is never going to sell. You got to get some of this crap out of here. Yeah, it was not good.
No wieners for open houses.
No.
For house showings. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was that in Minnesota?
No, that was when I lived in Florida.
Okay, Florida seems special. It seems really
Florida
special.
does seem a little bit special. Okay.
Wow.
Should we talk about alligators?
Okay, wait. So how many alligator stories do you have?
3.
3. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for this.
Alligator story number 1. Okay, so this is Tampa days. I lived in Tampa and I was driving home from work one day and I'm seeing ahead in the road, there's something huge. Like I drove kind of a sports car at the time. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to have to like swerve around this because I couldn't see what it was. And as I got closer, I saw that it was an alligator in the middle of the road. And so
just
I swerved around
and
pulled over because I'm like, well, this is really weird. And then behind me, this big, huge pickup truck pulled up and this girl gets out of it. And literally she looked like she was straight out of a country music song. She had a big, huge pickup truck with like a lift kit in it.
Love it so much.
She's got like cute jean shorts cut off and cowboy boots, like super hot, like country girl. And I'm like, well, I'm getting out of my car. I need to see what's going on. So I had already been pulled over. She pulled over.
Wait, you're getting out of your car and you know there's an alligator.
Well, so
right
I'm
there.
Standing close to my car.
Okay,
She's approaching the alligator.
Oh.
And I said, she goes, you need to help me get this alligator off the road. And I'm like,
get out of here.
And literally I had like a dress and pumps on.
Isn't this where you just like call the cops? Like for help?
Well, this is what I'm thinking. But like this is in the era when you barely had a cell phone. Like I had a cell phone, but I only had it on for emergencies. And then I wasn't using it. I powered it down. My old like Nokia block phone.
Yeah,
this was back in this era. And so I said, well, how do you know it's dead? And she goes, oh, it's dead. And I go, do they play dead? I'm like, the ones that are like, that I see, have their eyes shut. They don't, how do we know they're dead?
What if it's sleeping?
What if it's just injured and then we're going to get near it and it's going to attack us because it's like fight or flight?
Could you see an injury on it?
No.
What?
But I'm like, I don't know. I'm not an alligator whisperer. I don't know. So apparently she knew what she was doing. So she goes over and kind of like kicks it with her boot. She's like, nah, it's dead. She goes, I'm sure like a truck drove over it or something. And I'm like, okay.
Wait. So trucks hit alligators in Florida. Is
Well,
this
like
a
an
thing?
alligator was like in the middle of the road. Like if a semi or something came, I don't know.
But it would be like mangled.
Cha-chunk, clunk, 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 clunk. It's like going over a big speed bump.
Oh, whoa.
Well, I don't know. I'd never seen an alligator on the road before, and I still never have.
We maybe hit deer here.
It was
but not alligator.
Yeah. Well, we hit deer here all the time, but they're like standing big in front of your car, whereas an alligator is just like laying on the ground. Yeah, the whole thing was just freaking crazy. So I said, so she like really made sure that it was dead or
just like poked it a bunch
something.
or
yeah,
like...
she was just kicking it with her boot. And I'm like, better you than me. And I'm going to stand back here in case this thing wants to bite because it's going to bite your leg off. And then I'll go get some help. So she grabs it by its tail and she's like, come help me drag this off the road.
No,
so we dragged it off the side of the road.
You helped her.
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yes. Like, what am I supposed to do? It was big. It was like a 5-foot long alligator.
What?
And we were
You're just dragging an alligator, hoping that it's dead.
Road. Well, because then when rush hour comes, it was like a 2-lane highway. It could cause a big, huge accident because like my car wouldn't have been able to have driven over it. I would have gotten stuck on top of the alligator. So yes, I drug an alligator off the road with a girl that looked like she was in a country music song. Country music video.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Yep, that was a good time.
Wearing your high heels.
You wearing my high heels, living my best Tampa life.
Too bad this wasn't like the good cell phone days because you'd have pictures and video. This would be on TikTok.
Yeah.
It would be all over the place.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Some of the things I did back in my younger days, we probably wouldn't want video recording of that.
Good point. Very good point.
My mother would not have been proud of me, but like...
Yeah.
Okay, and the other thing, when you lived in Tampa, the other thing that you have to tell your clients that move from the north, you can't let your cute little baby dog, your little Shih Tzu out the back door to go potty if you live on a pond or a water feature, because your dog will get eaten by an alligator. It happened all the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in like
you
every
hear about
subdivision.
That.
No, people are like, oh, Fluffy's missing. If you see my dog, let me know. You're like, we're not going to find Fluffy. We're going to find Fluffy's collar pooped out in some alligator poop somewhere.
So like you don't even look. You just kind of like they're gone.
Like legit gone. Somebody didn't steal your dog. Like an alligator had a crispy little lunch. I know. Oh. But like if you move from the north and you've never lived anywhere where there's alligators, you would never know that.
No, I give no idea about alligators.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so my third alligator story, I cannot claim it for my own. Oh, although I wish I could claim this one, but it's too good not to share. This happened here in Minnesota.
Okay. Well, this is a Minnesota alligator story.
And so this happened to an agent that I did a deal with last year. She is going to write a book. She's been in the business for like 40 years. I've only been in 24.
So
she's got a lot more.
24,
she's got a lot more stories. So she's telling me this. She said she was showing a house in a first-tier suburb right out of Minneapolis.
Okay.
And she's showing her clients, and she goes downstairs, the Rambler goes downstairs, and they're looking in like the laundry room, mechanical room, and there was a shower curtain up on a rod where if you know those mid-50s houses, a lot of times there's sort of like that janky bathroom in the basement.
I know
there's
kind
of like a pipe coming out of the wall, and they strung up a shower curtain, and that's where like the boys would shower.
Or like
something.
Sometimes there's just a toilet,
yes,
bathrooms.
all the time. Yes, like that kind of.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
So she's like, oh, it's the janky shower in the basement. She pulls the shower curtain back, and bolted to the wall is an adult alligator.
No.
Yes.
No.
In Minneapolis.
Get out of here.
In Minneapolis. And I said, what did you do? She said a humongous chain around its neck, and it was bolted to the wall.
Okay, first of all,
I would have needed some new Spanx. Are you kidding me right now?
Shit my pants all over the place.
Yes.
Okay, also, poor alligator. Why is there an alligator?
I have no idea. I go, what did you do? I said, what was the alligator doing? She goes, the alligator was just laying there with a chain around its neck.
Oh, because he's so sad. A sad alligator.
Well, because he probably needed alligator therapy. And I said, so it didn't act. She said it did absolutely nothing. But she goes, it was effing huge.
Please tell me
alligator.
that she like made a call
Yeah.
or
So
dealt with it.
She pulled the shower curtain back, and they just like woot backed out of the room, and they were like, "Oh my God!" She called the listing agent, and she said, "Have you been
Do you
in
know
this
there's a
house before?"
fucking alligator in your basement?
Yeah, the listing agent had no idea. The listing agent had never seen that in the basement.
Because like they probably moved the alligator for the day, maybe
Who
to have.
knows? Or they just like, oh hey, look at this room, and like kind of like. But I mean, really, you're gonna have people in your house. Your house is for sale. Like, how effing stupid are people? People are morons.
So like, where's the alligator
I don't
now?
know what happened after that. I was just like finding an alligator in Minnesota chained up in a basement. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm literally in shock. Like,
It's crazy. You should you should probably go to jail for something like that.
probably.
Are they endangered species? I don't know.
I don't
Probably
know, but
not.
like it's got to go against like animal rights and
You
that kind
would
of thing.
think.
And I'm hoping she called the cops.
You
or
would think.
Like who comes out and rescues alligators
I
in
don't
Minnesota?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That's
And also,
friggin'
what
weird.
are you doing with it? What are you
I
doing
don't know.
with it?
Are you gonna have like instead of like cockfights, you're gonna have alligator fights? I mean, who knows? I have no idea.
Is that a thing?
I know. Probably not. I just
No,
made that
probably
up.
not. Okay.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay. So I had some clients a couple of years back that said they're gonna relocate to a warmer climate.
Sounds amazing.
Yes. So the wife moved and they started like new construction on their new house. And the wife and 2 kids moved with all the pets. So the husband was left in the house. Okay, let's back this up for 1 second. So when I went there for the listing appointment, I walked in, and the customary thing that we do in Minnesota is you take your shoes off when you get to someone's house.
Yes.
Because half the season they're like muddy or full of snow or whatever. So you always take your shoes off.
There's like basically 1 month where your shoes aren't messy in Minnesota.
And we're all accustomed to taking them off. So we just
Yep.
take our shoes off no matter what.
Yep.
So me, polite Minnesota girl, I walk into the listing appointment. Their house is like a cluttery disaster, but I'm like, okay, it won't be like this when we get it on the market. So I take my shoes off and I step into the house and then look around, and no one else has their shoes off. And there are animals everywhere, like 4 cats, 3 dogs, people everywhere. There may or may not have been some wacky tobacco being smoked while I was there. I'm like, whatever. So I'm walking through their house going, oh, dear Jesus, why did I take my shoes off? My feet are getting contaminated. Oh, my God. It was so disgusting. But at that point, you can't be rude and go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to put my shoes back on, because then you look like a total asshole. Like, what? What's wrong? So I was committed. I was shoes off. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I probably have walked through worse things in my life.
Probably.
But not in my late 40s.
I mean, you did live in Cancun.
I did live in
Cancun. So let's
You're right.
and Puerto Rico.
You're right. Okay. So I'm walking through their house with no shoes. You know, I'm like, so that's how this all started. So the wife moves. She takes 98% of the stuff out of the house, moves to Arizona. Husband's sleeping on an air mattress, wrapping up all the last minute details. And I said, you know, he had this big, huge punch list of things that he had to get completed. So I wasn't over there every day babysitting him. I'm like, you're a grown ass man. I'm giving you this list. I'm just relying on you that you're going to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a safe assumption on my part?
Absolutely.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
So he calls me and he's like, hey, rolling out of town tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay, great. How is that? You know, everything on our punch list done? Yep. There's like one little thing that's not done. And our handyman will be over here this week. I just gave him the lockbox code. He's going to come in and take care of it. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Safe travels. Talk to you guys soon after we get, you know, the minute we get a contract, you know, keep you updated. We're going to negotiate this. So I go over there. I mean, photos are in like a couple of days. So I'm like, you know what? I better just go double check the work. Because I had a suspicion. It was
From the look on your face right now.
Let me just tell you. I went over there and I was like, Mother of God, what in what universe do you think this to-do list is complete? There were so many things that were not done. But then I started just walking around the house, like opening a closet, they had like built-ins upstairs. So I'm opening all the drawers and cupboards. There is literally not little, but like some piece of something, leftover random trash, some really expensive Harley Davidson jackets are in the front closet. These are things you probably want, right? I mean, these are like $400 each.
Probably.
So I start looking around and I'm like, oh my God, it's not just like a couple of things that I'm like, oh, I'm just going to throw it in my car and throw it in my dumpster when I get home
like
to my
I'll just
house.
deal with this.
No.
Let's get this house on the market.
This is at least like 2 bagsters full of crap.
No.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, I'm all dressed up for the day. I'm like, okay, so before we have photos, and I brought like staging stuff over there to do like a light staging to, make the kitchens and bath look really cute. So I went home, I moved the next day. I'm like, okay, I need to strategize. I need to bring over like contractor garbage bags. Like I need it, like I need.
Are you trying to tackle this yourself?
Yes.
Oh.
Because my handyman, one was out of town and the other one was just finishing like back surgery or something.
Okay.
My husband Mark was out of town. I literally had no one. Our team was really like, we were like really stretched thin at that point in time. I'm like, okay, if this needs to get done and get done ASAP,
you're doing it.
I have to do it. This is what you do. If I don't sell, I'm 100% commission. If I don't sell a house, I don't get paid. And the family's gone.
Did they take their pets?
Yeah, they took everything.
Well, that's good.
Well,
that's
everything
good.
Except for 2 full bagsters and a half a garage full of crap that they didn't want to get rid of.
Is this a thing?
Not normally.
Not normally.
Every once in a while. But in this market, in a seller's market where buyers are like, I don't care, you can leave your house full of anything.
Oh, I guess.
This wasn't like that a few years back. You had to leave your house clean.
The
contract says broom swept, which, that's a very loose interpretation of clean. Some people are like, oh, I don't have a broom. I'm just going to leave it. So this house was like bordered on that.
Okay.
So I go the next day, yoga pants, no makeup. I'm like, I'm going to be a hot mess. Like, we're not even going to try super hard to look cute over here.
Yeah.
I brought tons of contractor garbage bags. I had gone to Menards and got bagsters. And I told them, I'm like, I have to haul all this away. I filled up my entire car full of old paint thinners, liquids, like all those liquids that you can't throw away. So I had to go take them to the recycle center. But the most disgusting thing in the basement, can you guess?
It's not going to be an alligator dead or something,
no,
is it?
No, it's not. Well, there was about...
Oh, no, you said 3 alligator stories.
Yeah, there was about 10 pounds of cat poop behind the furnace that I had to shovel up and haul away.
Gross.
So I think they're cats.
Gross.
I think really what happened is that because the house was in such a state of chaos, the cats were just like,
we need to find a place.
We're just going to poop wherever we want. So
Gross.
their makeshift litter box was in the furnace room behind the furnace. So I shoveled all that up. But the absolute worst thing, and I still have the video on my phone.
That's not the worst thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
There was a used penis pump with a condom, condom in it.
No, I did not see this coming.
Yes. Yes. And a used needle. This was in the closet in the bedroom in the basement. So this was their son's bedroom, a grown son. So have you ever seen a penis pump?
I have, but also, how do you forget your penis pump if you're moving out? How is it something that you just leave behind? It was
like the rubber was all, like he forgot it was there. It was like that, like when the old rubber just like kind of disintegrates. And there was a condom stuck inside of it next to a used needle.
Oh.
And so this was one of the last rooms that I tackled. I had to get it out and video it. And so I sent it to the team. I said, well, if anyone else is having a day quite like mine, I'm going to like buy you drinks later. I'm like, literally, I can't even make this stuff up.
Gross. That is gross.
Yes.
That is gross.
A penis pump with used condoms. Like, please, gross.
Oh. Why? Just why?
I just can't even.
So... Ugh.
So the house sold. It was fine. But at that point, I just wanted the buyer not to buy a house that was
disgusting.
That was the most disgusting thing ever. because my client, they moved across this country. Like they're
gone.
They're gone. They're never going to refer me any more business.
They're not looking for their
even
penis
though I
pump.
earned like 8 times the commission that I charge them. Yeah, that was living my best life.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I was out showing lake properties one day.
I need to take a sip of my
Just take a sip of
sparkling water.
LaCroix. I met this new buyer. They wanted to buy a lake home. And so I met her, kind of like west of the metro, and we're looking at lake properties. But the thing when in kind of like rural where lake properties are, a lot of times they're properties back in the day that have been on the market for a long time. So the signs all fall over when the snow
Totally
falls.
seen this.
You
Yeah.
don't see the signs anywhere anymore. So it's a lot of times it's hard to determine like what the house actually is. Or like what house is for sale.
It's not marked super well.
No.
Yeah.
So she and I meet at this property and we tour it. And we're walking around going, I don't remember that it had like this feature or that feature. And it didn't have a lot of pictures online, but like you have like a basic description of the house.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just something didn't seem right about it. But they just said the door is going to be open. So we just went in. Doors open, gave ourselves a tour. I left my business card on the counter. And then we get outside of the house and realize we are not at the right house. We are touring a house that's not even for sale.
Wait. And you left your business card on the
No,
counter?
so then I went back and grabbed my business card. I'm like, good God, he's going to be like, what the hell is this woman doing in my house? Like, we were in there for like 20 minutes. We could have gotten like shot with who knows?
Oh my God.
Yes.
So, wow.
I don't know where the owner was. It looked like a bachelor pad. And I'm like, oh my God.
So like they probably don't even know you accidentally toured their house.
No, his house just was unlocked because it's out in the country. And then we
that's
actually
so
found
funny.
the right
That's
house
so
and it
funny.
like legit wasn't even sort of the same. And so like years later, she and I still laugh our asses off about that. I'm like, remember that one time when we toured a house that wasn't for sale? Just walked into somebody's house. Hey, realtor.
I feel like that. Yeah, I can see that. I can
crazy?
see it happening. I can see it happening.
I mean, thank God we're not like bad people or burglars or whatever, but
Maybe lock your doors. No.
nobody does out there though.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
It's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pop back to Tampa. So one, I got a listing, basically a listing that was given to me by the top agent in our office because she said the sellers were needy and it was just in the time when houses weren't selling.
Okay.
This was a custom floor plan that these people kind of tweaked and they made it weird enough that it was keeping the house from selling just to any old buddy. It wasn't appealing to the masses. So this agent graciously, I was brand new in my career. She knew that I was like struggling trying to get business. She's like, how about I give you this listing? And she's like, I know that you're going to be able to give them the time that they need. So I built great rapport with the sellers. We have this house listed. I'm hosting an open house and this couple comes in. They were at the open house for quite a while. Super nice couple, walking around, checking it all out, asking the normal questions. And they're like, well, we're going to think about it. I'm like, okay. So I'm stayed at the open house. Hour later, they came back and they said, we really love this house. We want to write an offer.
Awesome.
I'm like, yeah. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't even know what to do next. But the husband said, he asked me some really inappropriate questions about like the demographics of the area.
Ooh.
And I'm like, sir, okay, A, that's illegal. And B, it's none of my business who lives in this neighborhood.
So you're like this great couple all of a sudden just turned icky.
Well, and it's the South and it's the 90s. Things were different. But the South is so much different than here in the Midwest. It just is in many regards.
Yeah.
So I said, sir, you need to drive around and you need to figure that out for yourself. And then if you still want to buy the house, let me know. So they ended up buying the house. They're just like this nice couple. He's like big Harley drivers. He's kind of like this big burly, rough and tough guy. But like the age of my parents type people, they're downsizing. This was going to kind of be the fur of their house. So they move in, everything's going great. Several months later, I'm at my office and it's back in the day where people didn't text you. They just showed up at your office.
That's so strange to me. It's just so strange.
It's really strange. And then my secretary put a page like, Beth to the front desk. You have a client at the front door. And I'm like, they don't even do that anymore.
Yeah, no.
So I go to the front door and I'm like, hey, we'll just call him Bob. Hey, Bob. Hey, nice to see you. How are you guys doing? Oh my gosh, so nice to see you. How are you loving your new house? So, little just small chit chat, right?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I just want to stop up here and see if I can ask you out on a date and see if I can take you out on my motorcycle.
No.
I'm like,
no.
Bob?
He's married, right?
Yes. And I know his wife. And his wife is so lovely. I actually like the wife even better than I liked him. And I'm like, Bob? And okay, like he's like in his, at the time I'm in my late 20s. He's probably in his late 50s. So he's legit the age of my parents. Wow. Maybe even older than my parents at the time. And I said, Bob, while I'm super flattered and I love motorcycles, I don't think that going out on the motorcycle with you would be a good idea considering you're married. Give my best to Bev. That's her fake name. Hope all is well.
Wow.
I'm like, dude.
This is like before. That's so
You come into
bold.
my office and you're basically asking me in front of my secretary, asking me out on a date, and you're married.
And like now I feel like someone would text you, right?
Yes.
But like just to show up like that.
It's pretty brazen, right?
Wow. So did you go?
No. Well, yeah, Christy, I just jumped on his bike and we went off riding into the sunset.
Oh, Florida, you seem magical.
Oh, Florida. All right, where should we go now?
I have no idea.
Okay, how about we go to like crazy? Let's go back to another drunk guy in a house story. This is also a couple years ago in a town not far from where I currently live.
Okay.
So I'm showing a house and my clients and we go into the house, tour the whole house, the whole main floor. It's like really beautiful house. But I thought it was weird. There was an open bag of chips and like a thing of salsa sitting on the counter. I'm like, it feels like somebody just had a fresh snack. Okay. And then we went downstairs. Really is a really nice house. And then we go upstairs and I go first. My clients who like I have a really great relationship with, they're right on my heels behind me. I get to the top of the stairs and I can hear someone snoring.
Get out of here.
So I do the universal sign. I like put my hand up like, halt. Please wait a second. And then I'm like,
let me make sure they're not naked.
Well, I said, and they're like, what? We're like basically mouthing to each other in the staircase. And I said, somebody's snoring down the hall. I'm like, I can see someone like laying in the bed, like their feet. I can see their feet on the bed. I said, stay right here. I'll be right back. And so you're
like, I got this because I've done this many times before.
And I know the person that lives there.
Yeah.
Like, we're not like besties or anything, but this is someone that I know. So I kind of tiptoe down the hallway and he is passed out cold on the bed, fully dressed, laying on top of the covers on his back, snoring. This is a
dress.
He is dressed. There's no wieners. Thank God. But it's 3 p.m. 3.
Oh, wow.
And but you got to be careful. I mean, you don't know if people have guns. Like,
no.
You don't know.
No.
So I just like backed up the hallway and we went down and I said, sorry guys, we're
not touring that
like
girl.
I don't want to startle him and have something crazy happen where like we're putting ourselves in harm's way. Like, we're not that stupid. Like, and they're like, this isn't the house anyway.
Let's have some of those chips and salsa. Yeah. Let's get out of here.
So then we just left and I reached out to the wife and I said, FYI, some crazy thing happened at my showing of your house today. And she's like, oh dear God.
Oh.
So they're having problems selling the house. Clearly, if somebody is passed out at 3 p.m.
Number one thing, just get out of your house if you're going to sell. Just get out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't day drink at your house when it's on the market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to end with one other weirdo story.
All right.
So this happened literally 2 years ago. We get an online lead comes in on one of our listings that is a golf course house, or a house in a beautiful golf community with a pool, a gorgeous executive home in the $800,000 to $900,000 ballpark. So I'm like, hell yeah, I want this lead. This is awesome. I can sell one of our listings. We loved our seller. So it was just going to be a win-win for everybody.
Cool.
Talked to this couple. They seemed interesting. Let's just use that. But
I love interesting people.
yeah. So I was talking to him and they said, we're at the car dealership right now. Hey, I'm going to have you talk to my wife. We're just whatever. This conversation is pretty, we have this decent conversation. I'm kind of probing, like, what's the desire? Is this the only location you're interested in? Blah, blah, blah. So we set up a time to tour the house. And they never showed at the home. So I get there. We prep our seller. It's our seller who's super excited to move so he can go and retire in Florida and just, live his best life.
Man, this is the theme of the show.
Florida.
Florida. We should go. Let's go to Florida, Beth.
I know.
Tomorrow? Let's go to the beach. Yeah. Let's hop a flight.
So the whole thing just seemed really weird. They ended up, the husband had some health issues. And so she said, we ended up at the hospital. Here's what's going on. I'm so sorry. There's just kind of all these weird things that they were red flags-ish to me, but there seemed like plausible explanations for everything.
Until there's too many.
Yeah. So we get a house under contract finally. I'd shown them a handful of houses, or showed her a handful of houses. I never met him, but I talked to him on the phone several times.
Okay.
But he was having some major health issues. Supposedly, we're using air quotes. I don't know. That was the story. So I showed her a bunch of houses. She's like, oh, so-and-so is going to love this house. We wrote up an offer. But there was all these really weird things going on with the earnest money. So when you write a purchase agreement, you have to give earnest money that shows, yes, I'm putting some skin in the game. I want to buy this house. So it's supposed to be like $20,000.
Okay.
And there was all these crazy things why they couldn't get me a check. They'd done it electronically, and then it looked like it went through the bank system, and then the bank did some sort of reversal on it.
Okay.
There's just all these crazy things.
Things that just seemed fishy. They didn't show up for the inspection because Mr. Buyer was having a bunch of health issues. I'm like, okay, well, this is totally fine. They ended up, like, the day before closing, they said, we're not going to buy the house. But, like, at this point, I'm like, well, you didn't even put your earnest money in, so I'm questioning if you even have the ability to buy the house. I'm thinking you probably don't. Like, there's something else fishy going on here. Yeah.
So that whole entire deal imploded. But that seller had already packed up all their stuff and moved away. But, like, we had, we did all the due diligence. Like, I had the proof of funds for a cash purchase for $1 million house. Like, I had everything that you need in a transaction.
What was the deal?
We still don't know to this day.
Weird.
And then they wrote an offer on another house, and the same sort of situation happened. And we just said, we need to back out of this. But then, like, I don't want somebody coming after me for, like, defamation of character.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what is going on with you? So then we started Googling them, and there was all sorts of crazy stuff online about them. So
you can't escape the internet.
Well, so we don't know. To this day, like, my mind just doesn't jump to, like, criminal behavior first and foremost.
But Beth, you're married to a detective.
I know.
Okay.
I know. So he just kept thinking, this seems really fishy. And I'm like, well, it does, but, like, it seems like they have a reason for this. I'm like, just because you're a shady person, shady people buy houses all the time.
That's true.
All the time. Who am I to judge your moral compass? That's not me. That's between you and your maker. That's not between you and your realtor.
Yeah.
If you have the money to buy a house,
that we should put that on t-shirts.
We could. We absolutely could. Like, if you have the money to buy a house,
yep,
you could buy a house. Doesn't matter. No. So yeah, I still to this day, they're like, I don't know if they're like scammers or what was going on. I don't know.
Weird.
But they never bought a house.
Maybe it's a good thing if we don't find out.
No.
Yeah.
I finally just had to, like, we just had to be done with it.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
These are good, Beth.
I think people just think that real estate is like, oh, you're going to go show pretty houses.
I think.
And it's going to be so great.
You wear high heels and you go in.
God bless. I don't even hardly wear high heels anymore. You better have a pair of Birkenstocks and yoga pants in the back of your car in case you got to clean up penis bumps.
Clorox wipes.
And a case of Clorox wipes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is hilarious. Wow.
It happens.
Yeah, I think my favorite one, or like, I think the penis pump's a bit much, but when I think of you in pumps, like with another woman with like a cowboy hat on, pulling an alligator off a like road, that's a good like visual for me. Like that's my favorite, I think.
It would have been fun to have photo proof of that.
Yeah, it would have been.
People, we literally can't make this up. And I know for any of you in real estate that are listening to this, I know my story's probably just barely scratched the surface from what some of you have experienced. And
we want to hear yours.
Yeah.
We want to hear yours. Hit us up in the comments. Let us hear yours. That would be so awesome. And maybe we can share them on an upcoming show.
That'd be super
What do you
fun.
think?
Oh my gosh.
Let's do it.
Yeah. We literally could write a book about this.
Yeah, maybe we will someday. Who knows? Yeah, hit us up and let us know what you've seen or experienced, because I like to laugh.
It's nutso, people.
All right. Well, that was fun, Beth. Thanks.
I'm glad I can entertain you for a bit.
I appreciate it. I really do. It's a nice little break for me. Okay, bus bench babes. Until next time, remember to keep your face off a bus bench and keep being the badass boss babe that you are, and stay away from alligators. Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.